Hello, this is Tom. Welcome to my channel. I have been working on a system of using catalogs for most of December with Midjourney and ChatGPT. So the idea is that each catalog has sections, and each section has prompts. So a typical catalog might have 100 prompts total, 10 sections with 10 prompts each. And I've developed catalogs for art, for photography, and recently added illustrators, um, a cinematic catalog, and designers. And I haven't made videos for each of these. I made videos for the art and the photography, and I've put them out on my blog, which I'll show later. But I was interested in the concept of if I could put uh, a number of different catalogs together. In particular, I was interested in art, photography, cinematography, and designer. And it's a lot of information, and I thought that I might run into problems with it, which I did. And I'll talk some later on about how I dealt with that issue, which I think is pretty interesting. Um, but I'll just start off with, I'm going to structure the video in the following way. I'll show the images that were created by Midjourney using the ChatGPT prompts. That's the first thing. The second thing is I will I'll show where I'm releasing the script in case you're interested in it, which will just take a moment. And then the final part of the prompt for anyone who's interested, I'll talk some about some of the issues I had to encounter in actually making the script. Okay, so first let's start off with just looking at some of the images. So these are cinematic images, and I'll show them in batches of 4. No, I'm sorry, this is wrong. This is not cinematic. This is a design image, architectural. Okay, so these 4 are the same prompt. And so what I did was I gave ChatGPT the 4 different types of prompts, cinematic, photography, art, and designer. And I gave it the theme, which was I wanted 8 prompts featuring Paris. So we'll see 32 total since there's 4 in each batch. And then it chose which types of prompts to do, um, from the 4 different types. So these are, it says a hotel lobby reimagined by Philip Stark. So we'll see the 4 that it did. I like these very much. Really nice images. Okay, let's see what the next one is. So these are Renoirs of a market scene in Paris. And well, it has really improved from version 5.2 on capturing the kind of the feeling of the different artists. And here, for example, as soon as I saw this, I knew it was emulating Monet. And these part Monet scenes, I think, are really nice images. Oh, and I found that using a stylization of all of the prompts, I'm using a stylization of 50. So I found that that works quite well with the version 6. I like the way the images come out. So here we have Versailles. So these are photographs. This is a batch of 4 of the same prompt. I love the black and white thing, photographs that Midjourney is doing now. And here's some more. And it still doesn't have, if you look around, you can see some problems with some of the people. And I haven't tried re-rolling these. This one I don't see anything wrong. with any of the people, um, but they're really nice. The compositions also seem to have improved quite a bit, and also being able to recognize what you're looking at in terms of the accuracy of the location has improved as well. And this is, you can recognize this instantly. Let's see, so what is this one? This is a film. So, okay, these are cinematic images. Coming up here, and here's some more cinematic images. Excuse, excuse me. Boy, this is nice. Like just the way it's capturing the field, I think has really improved a lot. I think, yeah, these were, excuse me, these were all of the ones that I had to show. Okay, so we're um, having some trouble here. Hopefully this will take care of it. Okay, I think that's good now. Okay, so the prompt that I gave it was just basically I said, um, please do 8 prompts featuring Paris. And the rest of it was just kind of tweaking the script that I was working on. And it shows the ones that I show them backwards order. So I show 2 cinematic ones, 2 photographic ones, 2 art ones, and 2 designer ones. And it shows which categories to choose from. It shows which artists or designers to use. And, I came up with the prompts. And I'll release the script. I guess I'll do it right now while I'm thinking about it. So this is called ChatGPT Instructions for Multiple Catalog for 6.0 prompts. And this will go to my blog, which is here. It's my name, December, .blogspot.com, and I'll put that in the description of the video. And I invite you to copy and paste the script and try it out. And it should welcome you and tell you, briefly how to use it. But it's basically just what I did. You just think of some theme that you're interested in. You can ask ChatGPT for ideas on themes and just say something like what I did. I'd like 8 prompts featuring Paris, or just anything that you're interested in. And it has these 4 different types of prompts that it can come up with. Okay, so for those that are just interested in being, playing around with the script and seeing what it would look like, I'll say goodbye. And for those that would like to see kind of how some of the issues I had to face, let's take a look at that. All right, so the first thing I did was I tried 4 catalogs together for Midjourney 6.0 prompts for ChatGPT. And this is really, really big, which you can tell by the size of the scroll bar. And I expected that I might run into issues trying to use a script that this was big, because this says 4 catalogs, each of them having 100 prompts. So it's a lot of information. And I did run into some problems. So then I thought about, well, how can I uh, get around that? And so I'll show you what I did. So, whoops, I'm sorry, I pulled up the same one. Here's the revised one right here. Oh, I should fix that typo, shouldn't I? Let's see. Instructions. Okay, there we go. All right, update. Okay. So I told it that there's four catalogs, and the first one will be cinematic. I gave it a list of the 100 directors that I was using, and instead of having 10 sections, I just had one. And then when I got to the bottom of the first section, I told it the original catalog had 10 sections with 10 prompts each. Due to space limitations, these are left out. Use the prompts from the section above to model prompts and treat the instructions as if the sections had been filled out using the names of directors as needed. So I thought this might work, and it did. It seems to have worked fine. So it's basically, instead of actually writing out all of the prompts for the catalogs, it's just pretending as if that was done and leaning on just the 10 that I had. So I did the same thing with the photography ones. I gave it the complete list of the photographers that I was interested in, which is 100 right here. Well, those are the artists. Okay, so here's the list of 100 photographers. And I did the same thing. I just gave it one section of 10 and told exactly the same thing. Due to space limitations, I'm just showing the one. But, treat the instructions as if they were all there. And then the same thing for the art ones. And now for the, um, I have two sections there, don't I? Huh. I didn't intend that. Let me get rid of the second section. All right. And I'll update that. Okay. So I found, yeah, while I'm doing this, I'll just basically say I found that even though there wasn't any problem with the context window. So it was able to take all the information in. Um, However, I did have some input problems where I wasn't able to put the entire script in at once. It told me that I needed to split it up. And so I did try that. I tried splitting up, putting it in, in I did four different installs. But the problem that I ran into was it just, it, it's, um, it was failing to execute the instructions accurately. And so it's a similar sort of problem to what there's been in the past. Um, there's a name for it, which I forget what the name is, but it has to do with that ChatGPT has problems with like the middle section of, if you give it like a whole big long piece of information, it remembers better the very first part and the last part of what you give it. And I was having to try to correct what I wanted it to do, and I was like, okay, at a certain point, and I expected that it might be too much. It was um, better just to start from scratch. And so I did this technique where I just used one section instead of the 10, just like I showed. But for the designer one, I included the entire catalog. And the reason for that is I have different types of designers in each section. So I have graphic designers and fashion designers, interior designers, and so forth. So I thought it would be better to keep the entire designer catalog and intact, but just list the names for the other ones to cut down. And you can see that the scroll bar is still fairly small. So it's still a lot of information, but it was able to handle this, from the testing that I've done. And then at the very bottom, I explained in notes, I said what I wanted it to do. So I said um, to grab from the different catalogs. Without that instruction, it would tend to just choose from one. And actually, I had to tweak this a little bit to get it to to choose from uh, not just one of the catalogs, but the group of catalogs. Actually, I think now that I think about it, that was more of a problem when I had that super long one. I think that was one of the issues, where it's just too much information for it to like manage the instructions. And then for crafting the prompts, I gave it some instructions on how to do that. And then on the interaction, um, yeah, this works quite well. You can see it's very short instructions, but basically they just tell it to welcome the user, to briefly explain the catalogs, and give the user an example of a request that they might make. And then I said, that's it. Don't discuss other things, because it tends to be very chatty and want to talk about things like just that are in the instructions, like how to craft the prompts and put together the collections and that sort of thing. And I didn't want it to do that. And then I said, in subsequent interactions, try not to be chatty, but if you're not unsure about anything, you must ask for clarification. And I'll go up to the top to see, to show how it responded. So after I got the information, it let me just start from scratch, because I think that would be easier. So I'll just start a new session, and I'll copy and paste in the instructions, and we'll see how it responds. Okay, and you can see how quick it is. That's another thing that's cool. I mean, it's a lot of information I gave it, but it was able to get through that quickly. And so it has a welcome. It says it's here to help me through the mentions of 4 different types of prompts. And it says it can, create the prompts, and then it has the for instance. If you're interested in prompts for machine pairs, I can generate a mix of prompts for each of the 4 catalogs. Um, so I'll say I'd like 4 featuring London, and we'll see what it comes up with. And I was happy with this response. And something that I wanted to mention was that it's going to give me, how about that? It's going to be 2 choices here. Um, in the user instructions there, you can see how short those user instructions were. And um, you can take advantage of the fact, and these are pretty much the same to me. So I guess I'll just choose 2. All right. And then you can see that, yeah, it did exactly what I wanted. Um, it listed as a cinematic prompt. That was one of the things I was tweaking with it. I wanted to make sure it had the name of the director or person it's basing it on inside the quotes of the prompt. And it's got 4 different types of prompts. It left out, okay, I'll take care of that. It left out the dash dash stuff. So I'll fix that and fix the script. But this is pretty much um, what I wanted to show. And what I wanted to say about the user information was that you can use the fact that it can interrogate, or that's not the word I want, to analyze. You can analyze the material and sort of, based on inspection, do what you ask it to do. And so I didn't write out any specific instruction. Let's see. I didn't say specifically what I wanted it to say. I said in general terms what it should do. And I said, for example, here, very briefly explain the catalogs. And I think this is a really nice technique. So I remember in the past, when I would try to construct user manuals, like back in, you know, the early days of ChatGPT 4 to be very specific and like really telling it what you wanted it to do. And now you can be a lot more open-ended in the instructions that you give it. It's a lot more human in a sense that you don't have to dot every I and cross every T, but explaining general ideas, what you wanted to do. Okay. Hope you found that useful, and I hope you have as much fun with getting these multiple treatments of whatever you're interested in exploring as I have. Thanks for watching.